Matt, where are you? Outside one of the hospitals? What are you seeing?
Officials have said that there's an urgent need for blood. Now is not a good time to be outdoors as the rain picks up and the wind picks up, and for the rest of the night into the early morning, this is only expected to get much worse. This unidentified gunman is also dead. Police right now don't know if or how he knew Grimmy. Look at this hail. As I walk closer to it, you can really get a sense of the damage. And yet she knew before she even went in the door that she'd be rejected. It's the new normal for these patients. The lawsuit alleges the social media sites did not do enough to stop ISIS propaganda. It was quite a scare for customers as the bullet came through this door. So I counted all of the graves at the cemetery and found at least 150 where the names were either unreadable or where there were no names at all. The police agencies from all over the country are being represented. Are the police lying?
Yes, the police are lying.
Complaints about CCD research.
People say that there's a prostitute problem here.
Okay, I know camera.
Some people think wrestling isn't real. So, I don't think professional wrestling's in my future.
It's a celebratory atmosphere. Here we're on Calle Ocho, 8th Street in Little Havana, right in front of Cafe Versailles. For decades, this has been a place where Cuban Americans have come to talk politics and to gather, and tonight they're here to celebrate. For Cuban Americans living in South Florida,
Viva Cuba!
Fidel Castro's death brought joy and relief. Reddy Gonzalez escaped Cuba when she was 6 years old. Under Castro, she says her father was held as a political prisoner for nearly 2 decades, ripping her family apart.
I don't hope death upon no one. Unfortunately, this is a person that was Hitler for the Cubans. Yes. So I believe we need to celebrate. And yes, I do celebrate his death.
Hundreds of Cuban exiles took to the street, chanting, singing, and waving flags. For many, the anger is clear. Signs calling Castro the devil. A newspaper headline reads in Spanish, "Dead."
It's the end of so much suffering. So it's not so much that we're celebrating the death of a person, so much as the end of this communist regime that we've run away from.
While the future of the island nation is uncertain, many hope this will be a turning point to a Cuba finally free.
Nothing lasts forever, so I hope that in my lifetime I do get to see it.
In Little Havana, Miami, Matt Grant.
The end of an era.
WESH 2 News. As a former cop, Joe Parrish is used to being quick on his feet, but these days, just getting around is a struggle.
It's been pure hell.
In April, Parrish was riding his Harley when he was run off the road by a drunk driver. After 7 surgeries to repair 2 broken bones, his doctor says he could still lose his leg.
Just battling severe pain at night, going through sorry, guys.
The bills could ruin him. A friend referred Parrish to Bikers Against Drunk Drivers, or BAD. Their mission is to raise awareness and provide victims financial assistance. Parrish, who's on 2 medications to save his leg, says BAD agreed to pay for the less expensive one.
So this charity really helped you?
Tremendously.
Records show BAD paid more than $1,300 for his medicine. But WESH 2 News Investigates found most of the charity's donations are not being used to help victims. According to state records, in 2012, BAD took in $879,000, but gave less than 1%, $8,700 to victims, while spending $200,000 on rent, $32,000 on bank charges, $28,000 on a prize display, nearly $7,000 on supplies, $6,600 on postage, and $13,000 on advertising. The year before, BAD reported revenue of nearly $1 million, but gave only $9,200 to victims, while spending nearly $500,000 on professional fundraisers.
I think that's completely pathetic.
We showed the returns to Charity Navigator and Charity Watch, 2 of the largest nonprofit charity watchdogs in the country. Both organizations say the returns don't add up. The president of Charity Navigator, Ken Berger, says he'd give BAD a 0 rating.
A minuscule amount of the money is going to meet the mission. Anytime we see that happening, we get very concerned.
In 2010, BAD reported $912,000 in total revenue, while giving only 0.2%, just $2,400 to victims.
And I think it really causes people to question whether they can trust an organization like this, and quite frankly, we don't think that they should.
At Destination Daytona, under a tattered American flag, we found BAD's global headquarters. Actually, they only rent half this space. BAD, which has been around for 28 years, is known for its motorcycle giveaways, but a woman running the counter did not want to talk to us.
We have some questions about your charity's finances.
I have no comment.
We wanted to hear directly from the charity's founder, Danny Perkins, but after more than a month of trying, it seems this is as close as we could get.
Despite seeing his face on this $1,600 a month billboard, Perkins did not want us to see him in person, citing health and legal reasons. When asked how donations are spent, Perkins told us in an email, the charity speaks for itself, claiming they've sent out 5 million flyers and sending us links to Facebook posts encouraging people not to drink and drive. That's our mandate, he told us, exposure and awareness, period. While state filings do indicate that outreach is part of their mission, so is helping victims, and that's where experts say BAD is falling short. Perkins would not say how much money he's making from BAD, and we still had questions. On state returns, he lists his address as this UPS mailbox in Ormond Beach. It turns out he actually lives a little farther south. Towering above the Miami Beach skyline in the shadow of South Beach is the Portofino Tower. Records show he lives in this ultra-luxury high-rise with a woman named Wahida Benferhat, who coincidentally is listed as the charity's director. We don't know if either are independently wealthy, but records show Benferhat bought the $950,000 condo in March. According to the property appraiser, there is no mortgage, suggesting the nearly $1 million condo was paid for in cash. Records show Perkins also owns a 27-foot pleasure boat similar to this one, which according to the state is registered under the charity's name.
We're here to see Daniel Perkins.
Despite coming all this way, Perkins did not want to answer questions about how your donations are spent.
What did he say?
Not to let anyone in right now.
For Derek Irving, losing his mom once was bad enough.
Oh, that's not her.
He had no idea it could happen twice.
I'm speechless.
Derek's mother, Dana, was murdered in 1988. At 24, she was buried inside a wood box at the Daytona Beach Cemetery. Throughout the years, Derek came to visit. When he got his master's, his mom was first to know.
I let her know that, I got my education. I hope she's proud of me.
The last time Derek saw his mom's grave was in 2010. Last Memorial Day, he brought flowers, but the grave was gone. It turns out Derek's mom isn't the only one missing.
Many of the graves here are in deplorable condition, like this one, which is literally in pieces. So I counted all of the graves at the cemetery and found at least 150 where the names were either unreadable or where there were no names at all. So what happened? Well, Sunset Memorial Park, which opened in 1959, was donated to Bethune-Cookman College in 2001. That same year, the state sued because the college wasn't licensed to operate a cemetery. During that court case, cemetery records entered into evidence showed 95 graves were recorded as unknown at that time. 25 other graves were listed as having more than one person buried there.
It may not mean anything to other people because their loved ones are not lying here resting, but it means a lot to me.
The state settled the case the following year with an agreement that no more burials would take place. The burial records, which had been entered into evidence, were later destroyed by the court because nobody wanted them.
Why did no one respond?
I have no idea. If they were valuable, perhaps they should have.
Today, the cemetery is owned by the Islamic Society of Volusia County. They say they cut the grass once a month, but admit that's not enough to reverse years of neglect.
Sometimes you are stuck between what you can do and the amount of funds that you have.
Oh, that's not her.
But no amount of money or time can heal or deter Derek, who's still searching for the one person he wants to talk to the most.
I would let her know that I love her.
In Daytona Beach, Matt Grant, WESH 2 News.
You can tell that this man is really hurt.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words, this room could fill a book.
It's amazing to see these and to see these pictures. It's breathtaking.
Demetris Nawlings is seeing these images for the first time. He survived the Pulse massacre. His best friend did not.
I felt compelled to come here. If I didn't come here, it wouldn't be right.
Every photo tells a story of healing and heartbreak. The powerful images taken by news photographers here and around the world document the Pulse attack and its aftermath, showing in ways words can't how Orlando came together.
These people in these pictures are me. We are Pulse. One Pulse line is us. That's me. One Orlando.
The exhibit, called Unison at the Snap Gallery in downtown Orlando, is opening in time for the city's Gay Pride Week.
And I think it's important for the Orlando community to witness some of the images of, like those vigils and the support that we got from around the world.
Nalling says images like this from Brazil help him heal. He hopes it helps others, too.
The support, the love. That says, you know what, I wasn't there and I didn't know you, but you're amazing, and we want your lives to matter too. I guess after the rain, there's always a rainbow.
In Orlando, Matt Grant, WESH 2 News.